In the subterranean halls of Base Epsilon 9, the air thrums with quiet urgency. My voice guides you through corridors woven with iridescent cables, walls shimmering in emerald pulses. I am Captain Aria Sol, newly appointed liaison, and this is my story. I step into the briefing chamber, lights dim. Around a hollow table, a dozen alien specialists await. Their bioluminescent markings flicker in synchronization. I clear my throat. Welcome, team. I'm Captain Sol, your new liaison from Earth Command. Silence. Then, the oldest among them, Vori 3, leans forward. We have reviewed your files. You are untested. My heart hammers, yet I hold steady. Challenges define us. Let's begin. Thus unfolds an exchange humble, direct, human. They ask, protocols, security, compatibility with xenotech. I answer, earn trust, build dialogue, respect hierarchy. Each response earn nods, though wings and tendrils stay still. Then, the HR scene. I accompany HR-1X, the alien human resources officer, to the empathy chamber. Its walls shimmer with living crystal. HR-WX's voice resonates in my mind. Here we assess cultural alignment. Tell me your greatest failure and what you learned. I exhale. On Earth, I once led a rescue mission that ended with casualties due to miscommunication. I blamed myself, but I learned. Clarity and listening matter above all. Lives depend on it. A crystal flares softly. HR-1X tilts its multi-ocular gaze. Insightful. It presses a luminescent panel, revealing floating glyphs, collaboration, integrity, adaptability. Each hover, each glow affirms I match their ethos. Next, the operations deck. I stride in as alarms twinkle softly. Screens display xenobiological scans. I brief the team. We've detected bioanomalies near the southern airlock. We'll deploy drones with infrared mapping, then send ground team Alpha for verification. Nameless beings bipeds, quadrupeds, floating orbs relax. The chamber hums approval. Equipment rattles politely. Protocols align. Then comes the twist. The drones detect a life form unlike any cataloged. Its energy signature echoes with unclassified resonance. Even the seasoned xenobiologists stare. Lights flicker. I step forward. Team, we document everything. No engagement until we understand its nature. I want detailed readings, metabolic cycles, communicative potential. Treat it as a sentient subject, not a threat. We watch the creature, a spiral of shifting light, pulsing with gentle curiosity. It seems to follow our drones, mimicking their movements. I whisper into my recorder, potential first contact in progress. Hours pass. I convene the team again. The entity responded when we broadcast simple rhythmic pulses. It paused, then echoed back. This may be conscious interaction. Vora 3 nods, tentacles curling in excitement. You handled this well. In the final scene, I stand before a viewport overlooking the alien landscape, vast spires, floating islands tethered by energy filaments. My voice softens. We came seeking knowledge, and perhaps we found something greater, a bridge between worlds. The base behind me thrums with life-infinite possibility. As Captain Aria Sol, liaison, negotiator, observer, I realize this is only the beginning. The corridors of Base Epsilon 9 feel different tonight. Shadows stretch longer, the hum of the xenon conduits deepens, and somewhere beneath the layered decks, something stirs. My boots echo softly as I make my way toward the restricted sector section Theta 7, sealed since the last stellar cycle. Only now, following the anomaly's detection, has Command authorized exploration. They sent Metha Newcomer, the untested liaison from Earth. Maybe they believe I'm expendable, or maybe they think I'll see what they've missed. My communicator crackles. Captain Sol, telemetry confirms unusual biosignatures near Theta 7. Proceed with caution. I key the comm. Acknowledged. Visual sensors on. No sudden movements. The doors hiss open. Inside, the chamber feels a livenaut with organisms, but with presence. Walls ripple with faint bioluminescent veins, pulsing like the heartbeat of the structure itself. This isn't standard architecture. This predates the base. As I step further, my eyes adjust to the eerie glow. Alien glyphs spiral across the fluorescent, undeciphered. In the center stands a monolithic structure, obsidian black, smooth, humming faintly. Scanners whisper data. Unknown composition. Power source organic. Sentient possibly. It predates both human and allied species records. I report unknown artifact located. Energy reading stable but rising. Recommend immediate research team deployment. Suddenly, my calm diesilence, suffocating and absolute. The artifact pulses once, sending a ripple through the air. Panels flicker, lights stutter. Instinctively, I raise my sidearm not to threaten, but to brace. Then, a voice, faint, layered with distortion, fills the chamber. Not from speakers, not from external comms, from inside my mind. Observer, welcome. I stagger. The voice continues salient yet intimate, vibrating with impossible clarity. Your presence marks convergence, unity. I grip my communicator, cycling frequencies, but static hisses. I realize this chamber, this relicit's not inert. It's a beacon, or a gate. The walls shift again. Holographic projections bloom a history rendered in light. Unknown species building colossal stations across deep space. Entities of light and shadow intertwined in conflict and communion. A warning, a memory, I cannot tell. Breath uneven, I kneel by the glyphs, tracing their shape. As I touch them, another surge of visions cascade. Fleets drifting abandoned, civilizations collapsed under unknown pressures, remnants of knowledge encoded in forgotten vaults. You must listen, the voice urges. I steady myself. I am listening. Who are you? A pause heavy with eons. We are forgotten, but not lost. Suddenly, the artifact's surface fractures not breaking, but opening, revealing within a crystalline structure pulsating with soft blue light. My scanner reboots, reading the impossible, dormant neural imprints, consciousness preserved, a repository of thought, of memory, of warnings. Footsteps approach. I turn, Vari 3 enters, his expression unreadable. You heard them, he states simply. I nod. This isn't just history, it's a message. Faride's eyes darken, and now it's awake. We stand together, the artifact pulsing, the future unknown. But one truth crystallizes our mission on Epsilon 9 has changed, drastically. The air inside the Epsilon 9 command nexus feels thick, dense with apprehension. Around the circular council table sit representatives from 5 allied species each, more uneasy than the last. Holographic displays flicker above us, projecting streams of encrypted data from Theta 7. The artifact's pulse now registers across the entire base. I stand near the center, every eye biological, synthetic, and otherwise locked onto me. The eldest, Admiral Sarek of the Alvari, leans forward. His skin shimmers like liquid chrome, eyes deep as event horizons. Captain Sol, his voice cuts through the tension. You engage with a relic of unknown origin without authorization. I exhale slowly, measured. I followed exploratory protocol until the relic initiated contact. After that, the situation evolved beyond standard parameters. A murmur rises, a mixture of dissent and intrigue. Beside me, Vor 3, coiled and composed, addresses them. The captain speaks truth. The entity communicated through non-traditional channels. From the far side, Envoy Malrek, their translucent form, flickering with shifting patterns, speaks in layered tones. A relic that speaks? Dangerous. We lost colonies to ancient signals once, echoes that manipulated, corrupted. The room stills. That history is Rawa ghost. No one wishes to stir. But I step forward, unwavering. I heard it. Not an echo, not corruption. It was deliberate, structured, a plea, not an attack. The council exchanges wary glances. I activate the hollow recording fragments of the relic's pulse, the layered voice repeating, "We are forgotten, but not lost. Unity, convergence." The phrase plays twice before I cut the feed. Silence settles like gravity. Admiral Sarek's gaze sharpens. And what of the neural imprints? Explain. I tap the control panel, overlaying scans of the relic's crystalline core. Neural data stored in organic lattice species unknown. Preservation method beyond allied science. But the signatures show sentient complexity, memory, identity. VOR 3 adds, the imprint architecture suggests a collective mind, possibly dormant, possibly fragmented. Envoy Malrek's patterns shift darker. A collective mind awakening beneath us is no small matter. A young human officer, Lieutenant Cass, speaks up nervous but resolute. If the relic's message is true, it predates the collapse cycles. That knowledge could stabilize entire sectors. Sarek frowns, calculating, or destabilize them. Imagine weaponized memory, weaponized history. Another Pausia decision looms. I straighten. We have two options. Quarantine the relic, risking further awakening without guidance, or we engage carefully, extract control data, and understand what sleeps beneath us. Vor3's tendrils twitch in silent agreement. Malrex form ripples, controlled engagement, risks, contamination. I lean in. Doing nothing risks ignorant sand that's killed more civilizations than knowledge ever has. The table falls silent. After a beat, Sarek's voice lowers. Proceed, but under constant monitoring, one misstep, and containment protocols override. I nod. Understood. As the council adjourns, I remain, watching the artifact's pulse displayed on the hollow screens, rhythmic, persistent, a forgotten voice reaching across time, desperate to be heard. And in my core, a quiet certainty forms this is no mere relic. It's a beacon. And it's only the beginning. The hum of the elevator descends into a deeper frequency as I ride alone toward the substructure of Base Epsilon 9. Beyond the operational decks, beyond the habitation rings, lies the Foundation sub-level Delta, a place sealed for decades, untouched since the base's earliest construction phase. Now, the Relic's awakening has triggered access codes buried in forgotten archives. The faint glow of emergency lighting flickers against the walls as the lift slows to a stop. The doors slide open with a reluctant hiss, revealing a forgotten world. Pipes twist like arteries along the ceiling, condensation drips rhythmically, and faint traces of dust float through stagnant air. Here, the base's original infrastructure fuses with remnants of something older alien architecture half swallowed by human engineering. I step forward, pulse steady, eyes scanning. My HUD displays fluctuating energy readings emanating from a chamber deeper ahead. The relic's influence has spread. Quiet warnings from command echo in my earpiece. Maintain observation protocols. If the entity escalates extract immediately, but extraction isn't an option. Not for me, not now. The narrow corridor opens into a vast subterranean chamber, walls etched with alien glyphs, spiraling patterns stretching into the dark. The structure resonates with faint bioluminescence, like veins carrying forgotten knowledge beneath the base. At the center stands another monolith, smaller than the first, cracked along its surface, leaking soft tendrils of radiant energy into the floor. I approach, careful, every step calculated. My scanner whispers telemetry, unknown substance, partially organic, neural signatures faint but undeniable. A second relicidin in plain sight. Suddenly, my comm device chirps with a static burst. Var3's voice breaks through, distorted but urgent. Captain, the relic. It's broadcasting beyond the base. Deep space signals triangulating unknown recipients. I clench my jaw. So, this isn't isolated. The awakening stretches further than we imagined. A low hum grows louder. The cracked monolith pulses. The air thickens, heavy with electromagnetic distortion. I hear it again, the voice from Theta 7. Layered, ancient, impossible. Fragments? Unifying? Convergence? Imminent? The chamber shifts, the walls ripple as hidden panels slide open, revealing crystalline constructs lining the perimeter. Within them, faint silhouettes figures, humanoid in form, preserved in translucent stasis. My breath catches. These aren't just relics, they're vessels, biological archives, survivors of a forgotten civilization, kept on the edge of death, or perhaps the edge of rebirth. A warning klaxon blares from my comm. Biocontainment compromised. Elevated neural emissions detected. Command advises retreat. But my instincts override orders. I step closer, hand resting lightly against the cracked surface of the relic. It responds, a cascade of light unfolding like petals, revealing intricate data matrices, spirals of memory etched in living crystal. Images flood my mind, civilizations extinguished by entropy, alliances shattered by misunderstanding, knowledge lost to fear. And beneath it all, a single thread. The plea for unity, preserved by those who refused extinction. The figures in stasis twitch faintly. Life support systems activate autonomous machinery, humming to life for the first time in millennia. I speak aloud, steady, and clear. You're not forgotten. We've heard you. The voice returns stronger, layered with countless echoes. Then the convergence begins. The chamber pulses, across the base, systems flicker. And for the first time, I realize we're no longer alone in this structure. Something older, something vast, is waking up. The alarms start low, a subtle thrum beneath the floor plates, easily mistaken for routine power cycling. But by the time I reach the operations deck, that hum has escalated into a full-scale emergency siren, pulsing through every corridor of Epsilon 9 like a heartbeat gone frantic. Hollow screens flicker in the command center. Security feeds stutter with static. Atmospheric pressure warnings cascade across displays. I weave through the control staff, their faces drained, eyes wide with confusion. Vorthry's voice cuts through the noise, his tone uncharacteristically tight. Captain Sol, containment protocols have failed in sub-level Delta. The Relic's emissions exceeded predicted thresholds. Its breached internal barrier's energy signatures are spreading across the station. I grip the railing overlooking the operations deck. Biohazards? Negative, Vori 3 replies. But the neural emissions pattern frequencies are interfacing with system architecture. The base is adapting. I glance at the nearest panel. The data streams aren't corrupted, they've evolved. Lines of alien code merge seamlessly with human encryption. Hybrid scripts rewriting subroutines. Power grids pulse in synchrony with the Relic's rhythm. Before I can respond, the floor beneath us vibrates a deep, resonant thud rippling through the base. The viewport shutters lower automatically as structural tremors shake the operations deck. Lieutenant Cass races to my side. Captain, the lower sector's physical breaches detected. Pressure fluctuations possible, void exposure. My stomach tightens. I slam my fist onto the comm console, lock down sub-level Delta, evacuate all personnel from adjacent sections. But it's already too late. The holofeed stabilizes briefly, displaying grainy footage from Delta's core. Cracks fracture the monolith's surface completely now, radiant energy pouring into the chamber like liquid light. The stasis vessels those ancient preserved figures tremble within their crystalline pods. And then they open. First one, then another. Translucent containment shells peeling away. Humanoid forms stagger into the flickering chamber tall, their skin etched with the same spiraling glyphs that cover the relics. Their eyes blaze with recognition and pain. The operations deck descends into chaos. Emergency teams scramble, protocols fracture. I hear overlapping reports unknown lifeforms active, system interfaces hijacked, deep space comms offline. A voice familiar yet transformed echoes through internal speakers. Convergence Phase 1, initiated. The relic isn't simply waking the past, it's merging it with the present. Vori 3's tentacles coil beside me, his bioluminescent patterns dim. We underestimated the entity. It was never Innertit was calculating. Cass's voice quivers. Cyrexternal sensors long-range scans detect gravitational distortions beyond the asteroid field. I pivot to the star map. Emerging at the system's edge, ripples in space-time, vessels folding in dozens unknown configurations, angular, organic, vast, reinforcements, or something worse? I issue orders fast. Fortify the upper levels, secure evacuation routes, prepare for off-world contact hostile or otherwise. The stasis survivors in Delta 7 move with eerie coordination, their glyphs glowing brighter as the relic's pulse synchronizes with them. They glance skyward as if sensing the distant approach of their forgotten fleet. As the operations deck plunges into controlled panic, I grip the console, steadying my breath. This is no longer a containment breach. This is the beginning of a war or an alliance. And I'm caught in the center of both. The outer defense grids of Epsilon 9 flare to life, casting electric halos across the black void. From the observation platform, I watch them shimmer like desperate shields against an unknown storm. The approaching Vessel's 27 distinct signatures emerge one by one from hyperspace distortion, eclipsing nearby stars like shadows made real. Data streams pour into my visor. The ships defy known classifications, asymmetrical hulls, biotechnological structures, glowing veins pulsating along their frames. No visible weapons yet, the raw gravitational interference suggests power beyond conventional warfare. Lieutenant Cass stands rigid beside me, her voice strained. No allied transponder codes, zero hailing responses. Orders, Captain? I hesitate, pulse steady despite the storm churning in my chest. Behind us, the Relic's influence continues spreading through the base's infrastructure rate's rhythms, now embedded in life support, communications, even navigation. The lines between the station and the ancient entity blur with every passing second. VOR-3 joins us, his elongated form illuminated by the pulsing console displays. His gaze locks onto the alien fleet. These are not invaders, he states, tone flat. They are kin. I turn sharply. Kin? You recognize them? Not directly, Worry 3 replies, but their energy signatures, they resonate with the artifact's neural imprints, genetic echoes buried deep within the station's architecture. Suddenly, the relic speaks again, this time through every comm channel, every speaker, even the base's walls themselves vibrating with a layered voice. The forgotten return, convergence, fulfilled. The lead vessel halts just beyond the asteroid perimeter, its surface folding open like the petals of a colossal metallic bloom. From within, a sphere of translucent energy detaches, drifting toward us, slowing as it nears the station. Command broadcast emergency protocols. Defense systems lock onto the incoming object, targeting arrays glowing red. I raise my hand, silencing them. Hold your fire. The energy sphere docks gently against the main airlock. Bioscanners register atmospheric compatibility, trace elements of unknown organic compounds, and faint genetic markers matching those in the relic's crystalline core. This isn't a weapon, it's a messenger. I descend to the airlock personally, alone.
The chamber hisses open. Inside, bathed in shimmering blue light, stands a figure. Tall, humanoid, skin inscribed with bioluminescent glyphs identical to those of the stasis survivors. Their eyes meet mine, ancient, weary, yet burning with undeniable intelligence. They speak, not aloud, but through shared thought, their voice threading directly into my mind. You have awakened us. The cycle resumes. I respond cautiously. What cycle? A brief pause, then images flood my consciousness. Fragmented memories of a civilization spanning countless systems, unified in purpose, shattered by betrayal, forced into hiding, encoded within relics, waiting for a signal, the convergence. The figure continues. We did not vanish. We prepared. You activated the final sequence. Now, alliance or extinction follows. Behind me, station alarms pulse, defense protocols hang by a thread, distant fleets loom. I meet the ancient being's gaze, voice steady despite the stakes. We choose alliance, but on terms built from truth, not forgotten wars. A faint smile flickers across their features, the first human-like gesture I've seen from them. Then unity begins with you. The chamber pulses with light, the base shifts around us, and history rewrites itself, whether we're ready or not. The doors to the central genetic archive hiss open with reluctant groans, releasing a gust of sterile, recycled air tinged faintly with antiseptic and something older. Something not entirely human. Banks of cryogenic storage towers stretch into the distance, faint blue light reflecting off thousands of cylindrical containment units, each one holding genetic material gathered over centuries. But tonight, the archive feels different. It hums not with machinery, but with life. Faint pulses of light trace across the cryotubes, synchronizing with the relic's influence still spreading through Epsilon 9. VR3 walks beside me, his expression unreadable, bioluminescent patterns subdued in the dim glow. The base is changing, he says quietly. Your species cataloged this archive as inert. But the convergence is awakening dormant systems beyond your comprehension. I stop glancing at the consoles. Displays flicker with unfamiliar data, alien glyphs spiraling across screens, merging with our own medical codes. The archive no longer belongs entirely to us. Or maybe it never did. The ancient envoy, the humanoid survivor from the Relic stasis pod, stands near one of the largest chambers, its transparent walls frosted with centuries of cryogenic preservation. Their glowing eyes lock onto me as I approach. They extend a hand, palm inscribed with faint spirals of light, gesturing toward the console. Their voice threads through my mind. The convergence requires understanding. This archive holds your origin and ours. I hesitate, fingers hovering above the activation pad. Our origin? I echo cautiously. They nod. Fragmented histories. You believe yourselves distant, separate species, divided by stars. But the archive holds the forgotten strands. Reluctantly, I trigger the console. The frosted surface clears, revealing the specimen suspended within, humanoid in shape, but features elongated, alien, familiar. The genetic readout cascades across the hollow display. My eyes widen. It's human. Partly. Hybrid sequences interwoven with unknown strands, ancient markers identical to those in the envoy's DNA. My pulse accelerates. This isn't possible. The genetic divergence, humans, our evolution, this predates us by thousands of years. The envoy's voice presses gently into my mind. Predates by design. Your kind are not an isolated anomaly. You are inheritors. Fragments scattered across space by the first convergence. Seeds planted. Monitored. Preserved. I stagger back, realization colliding with instinct. Earth, humanity, we weren't the first step. We're the continuation. VR3's tentacles coil uneasily. This revelation jeopardizes political balance. Entire species cling to their origin myths. If this truth spreads, the envoy interrupts, voice steady. Truth buried festers. Truth revealed heals. Outside, systems continue fluctuating. The relic pulses stronger. The archive's forgotten data floods into station networks. I grip the console, forcing my breath steady. The ancient being steps closer, unwavering. You must choose, Captain. To conceal or to unite. I stare at the hybrid specimen floating before me, the undeniable link binding species thought separate for millennia. Behind me, alarms flare faintly, the distant approach of more ancient ships. The convergence is no longer theoretical. It's here. And with it comes a choice that will reshape the stars. The communication spire rises from the heart of Epsilon 9, a skeletal tower of reinforced alloys, signal arrays, and quantum relays that stretch toward the void like grasping fingers. In peacetime, it's the station's link to deep space colonies, Earth Command, and the broader galactic network. But now it pulses with interference, alien code bleeding through its systems, frequencies folding together like layered static. I ascend the narrow maintenance corridor, boots clanging against metal grates, every step echoing with tension. Below, the station flickers with fluctuating power. Above, the ancient fleet holds position, their bioships silhouetted against the stars. Lieutenant Cass's voice crackles in my ear, tight with urgency. Captain, the relic's neural frequencies have breached the spire's systems. Automated comms are unresponsive. We're isolated. I respond, breath steady despite the pressure mounting behind my ribs. I'll re-establish control. But control is a fragile illusion. At the spire's summit, windless silence greets me. Screens flicker erratically, cables hum with bioelectric charge, and across the glass panels. Alien glyphs spiral etched by an unseen hand. The envoy is already here, standing by the central uplink console, their bioluminescent markings glowing brighter as the relic's influence surges. Their voice threads into my thoughts before I speak. The convergence requires contact. The uplink must transmit beyond your borders. I narrow my gaze. Transmit what? To whom? They gesture outward, beyond the spire's glass canopy. The ancient fleet drifts in disciplined formation, silent, waiting. Fragments still scattered. Others forgotten. This signal awakens them. My jaw tightens. You're activating more relics. More of your kind. They nod calm, unwavering. Ours and yours. I hesitate, memories flooding back, Earth, colonies light years away, humans clinging to myths of singular origin. This transmission changes everything. No borders, no isolated histories, only the undeniable truth. We're part of something older, larger, unavoidable. VR3's voice interrupts, patched through on a private channel. Captain, if the envoy completes the transmission, the political ramifications, alliances may fracture. Fear spreads faster than truth. I glance at the envoy, hand poised over the uplink. Their expression is unreadable, alien, yet familiar. Beneath their ancient skin, I see echoes of humanity, of shared design. The station trembles faintly. System diagnostics flicker across my visor. Defense arrays partially disabled. Power rerouted. The relic's pulse growing stronger. The envoy speaks softly. Unity requires risk. But stagnation is extinction. For a breath, I weigh the consequences. Suppress the signal, maintain the fragile order. Or transmit, unleash the convergence, expose buried truths, invite unknown futures. I activate the uplink. A surge of energy cascades through the spire. Antennas unfold, signal relays flare, and a pulse of coherent data radiates outward through the void, beyond the fleet, across forgotten systems. The ancient ships respond, formations shifting. Across deep space, dormant relics activate. Hidden archives illuminate. Long-lost species stir. Cass's voice returns, awed. Captain, we're receiving responses. From beyond charted space. The envoy's gaze holds mine, firm, resolute. It begins. The stars ripple with new signals, new voices. The convergence is no longer theory, it's transmission, awakening, inevitable. And in that moment, I know there's no going back.